Welcome back, Paul Catalina and Garrett Ross. And I'm very excited about this show today because we have a dog in the studio. Any day that I get to see a dog is a good day. And maybe like the more and more we do of this, the more I can convince Amanda it's time for us to get another dog.
I think so. I think the more she needs to, we need to send these segments directly to her. Just watch them on a loop.
Yeah. I also would like her to come in one day when there's a dog.
That's how you're going to sell it.
Yeah, that's how we're going to do it. We were just back home in Nashville. Her family has a dog named Maggie. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of people there, so I didn't feel like I got enough one-on-one time. But, But
wasn't Maggie sad when you left?
Very sad. Very sad. I don't know if she's sad when she's kind of sad when everybody left, but she was sad. So, but we didn't get as much. There were children there, so dogs
children always get in the way.
Yeah, I mean, they that happens. So before the break, we talked about CJ Baxter and a devastating injury for
sucks,
Texas.
Honestly.
It does. I said yesterday, the silver lining of getting hurt this early is that, he'll more than likely be ready for the start of next year is where the later you get hurt, this kind of injury, it just kind of throws into question all of that. But here he is. He's injured. Now, this situation is not dire for the Longhorns, but he was very good and very ready to go when Jonathan Brooks hurt his knee last year. And without CJ Baxter, if he wasn't as ready as he was, then I don't know if they get to where they got.
I don't think they do. I mean, because he really saved them at the end. There was a lot of big carries that he got during that. And this is something that sucks too, because when you look at this Texas team, you're already going to have – you lost Sweat, Murphy, Jalen Ford. You have so many stars that you're going to have to replace. You're moving into the SEC. Mm-hmm. You have Quinn Ewers, who, while he is good, has a history of injuries himself. Then you lose your number one running back. It's not ideal. Like, I think they're going to be okay, but I'm don't know that they can handle the week in and week out competition that they're going to face and the bulk of – because it's going to be different going in the SEC. Those defensive lines are totally different than what they've seen week in and week out, and the attrition that could take place there is something I'm nervous about if I'm a Texas fan.
Yeah. I think that – but, I mean, getting to know Jaden Blue and Trey Wisner, probably not a bad thing. Now, Jaden Blue was a guy that sat out his senior year and then went to Texas to kind of protect himself, which didn't go over well with a lot of people.
But here's the funny thing with that. It didn't. And ironically, about 2 weeks after Jaden made that decision, who followed him to do that? Quinn Ewers did.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers said, I'm going to sit out. Quinn Ewers didn't get none of the flack that Jaden Blue got.
Yeah.
And then now they end up on the same team together.
He graduated early, right?
Yeah, both of them did. Yeah, both of them sat out their senior years, but Quinn went on to Ohio State. Jaden just said, I'm not playing. Yeah. And now they're here on the roster. It's just kind of funny how that worked.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Jaden was the first over the wall, right?
Absolutely.
And so he was the one who got the flack. And Quinn Ewers did the same thing. But, yeah, I don't think – and now, look, Quinn Ewers was at Ohio State practicing, so yes, that's going to make him a better football player. I mean, he's playing football. Jaden Blue was not playing high school football and not playing college football, so I did think it was a bit of a mistake to think that you're not going to do anything football-wise for 6-8 months, and then that's going to help you. It's not. Like, you don't get better at football by not playing football. No. And I get protecting your body and all that stuff, but he's going to be the starter, and he's very talented, very good. He had a couple big runs last year, spelling CJ Baxter. He's ready to rock. And the other one is Trey Wisner, who was at Connolly here, and then he went to DeSoto for his last year, which happened with a couple of players from Connolly. They lost two of their better players. And while that sucks, like, I get it's probably better for me to go to DeSoto and play than –
I mean, you maxed out – I'm not going to say you maxed out, but if you want to measure yourself up against what you're going to see –
other guys that are
going to be on the same level, I understand why you did it.
I get it. It sucks.
It does. Especially if you're – at Conley,
Yeah. So, but I'm –
like with Trey, I'm going to be interested to see how he comes into this room because you saw him have a lot of success last year returning kicks and everything. I think he's going to be fine. He's going to have to bulk up, though, because he's like about 200 pounds or so. He's going to have to get a little heavier, especially if they want to use him in between the tackles rushing because he can get beat up with that small frame.
Yeah, but they're going to be able to do a lot with him in the passing game. He was actually a really good defensive player in high school.
He was probably a better defender than he was offense.
I thought that's where he was going to wind up, at like safety or something like that. But he is really good with the ball in his hands. They need him there now. Good foresight to get Nick Sanders to walk on too and add some depth. But they've got 2 true freshmen that are going to play. I'm sure at least one of them will get in the rotation there at Texas, and they. That'll be battled out over now. Their timeline is just accelerated in that, and I hope this injury for CJ Baxter means he can come back and play and be CJ Baxter next year, and that remains to be seen. And by the way, Jarrett Gibson and Christian Clark are those 2 freshman running backs, and Jarrett Gibson is from Gainesville. He went to IMG Academy. Christian Clark is from Phoenix, Arizona. He went to Mountain Point High School. So he, an IMG kid and a kid, Arizona's starting to become a little bit of a hotbed.
Yeah.
Especially in that Phoenix.
Chandler? Yeah.
Phoenix, Chandler, like all that area that's really starting to be a real recruiting hotbed. So, that's going to be the running back battle there. I just wonder when you look at Texas's schedule, what teams are they going to face that are tough against the run constantly? Pretty much all of them.
Yeah, Michigan, Georgia.
Yeah.
Like, bam, like you're going to face a lot of defensive lines that are going to test you, and that's going to be the thing. And to me, does this put more pressure on the passing attack? Are you going to have to kind of throw more than you anticipated coming into this season because of the shakeup and not having the rotation that you were accounting on in the offseason?
So I'm going to tell you, here are the defenses that are going to be toughest to run against. Not saying they won't be able to, but these are the ones on their schedule that will be the toughest ones. Michigan, who might have the number 1 defense in the country, even though like that game could wind up being more of a slobber knocker than the Longhorns want because of that good defense. Oklahoma's got a very good defense. Did not make my top 25. They would have been like 28. And
that's about fair, 28, 30.
Yeah. And if they're higher than that, the Dundies was very mad at me yesterday. But, they're not in it.
They're going to be fine.
They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. You want to be in the top 40, 50 defenses. That puts you in a good spot. Top 40 and 50 in either one means you're a good team.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like 9th in one and 180th in another, you're probably going to be 6 and 6 or worse because you can't stop anybody or you can't score. Unless you're Iowa, and then it's a different thing.
That's your bread and butter.
Your bread and butter. Then they play Georgia, who's got Georgia. Then they do play Vanderbilt. Don't know about Vanderbilt enough yet, but I think that'll be an easier game to run on. But Florida's got a really good defense. Like Florida's defense is very good. They made my top 25, and it's because their defense has been keeping them to where – that's Billy Napier's saving grace right now is telling the fans, like, look, if we can just get the offense right, the defense is already there.
Yeah.
The problem is he hasn't been able to do that.
No.
It hasn't even gotten close. But Florida's going to be tough to run on. Kentucky's going to be a little bit tough. And then they close out the regular season at A&M.
Yeah, that's going to be.
That team defensively is going to be pretty good.
That's one where I don't see a lot of points being scored in that game at all, man. I think that's going to be like an old school bludgeoning between those two.
Like the games probably used to be in that series. Yeah, I think that's going to be that. And they're going to be so ridiculously fired up for that game that I think that is the only concession the SEC made when they told A&M that Texas is coming in. The first year will be at your place.
Yeah.
So the first year will be at your place. After that, there's nothing else.
No.
There's the concessions are over. This is for being a team player. Garrett, I do want to call attention to something before we go to the next segment.
Okay.
And it's a Thursday. Thursday, I'm going to keep the show a little bit shorter because I'm going to go on this presidential platform. I don't want to go off on too
get
much
serious
attention.
stuff out here.
Yeah, get serious. So, you are not wearing glasses today.
I am not. I am not wearing glasses.
And you can see good enough to do your job.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
That's the hope. I can see good enough to do my job. My wife will not allow me to drive.
That's very smart of her.
We had an incident where I told them a few years back, and they let me drive from Arizona to San Diego. Mm-hmm. It was an interesting ride for everybody in the car, and we made it, but it was questionable at best.
Okay, so we need to get you into a Lens Crafters or a Stanford Optical.
Something, man.
Yeah.
Like, I need my eyes, I need my prescription updated, and I've been holding out on contacts for years because I've been afraid of, like, putting my fingers near my eyeballs. That just doesn't seem normal.
Have you ever seen me put up my contacts in?
No, but and this is probably not fair, but I've seen the hell Smokey has, but that makes sense.
But that's
a different animal.
Look, I can do it. I mean, it's just, I could do it right now, and if I had some saline, which I don't think I do, if I had some saline solution, I would take it out and put it in and show you how easy it is.
See, that's what I'm going to have to do because I liked having the glasses. It was cool. It was a nice shake up, but it kind of took away my. It made me look a little soft, and I don't like that.
Okay, I think you look good in glasses. I think, but I've only known you with glasses.
I had them I got my glasses like a week before I started working with y'all at the radio station.
Yeah, so. I think, you know what, you can just walk in to Stanford Optical. Like, they're happy to have you. Tomorrow before you come here, get up in the morning and go there.
I'm going to have to
just go there and solve this problem. Because if you wait through the weekend, you're going to have headaches and all that
That's
stuff.
what I've been worried about is, like, getting a migraine with this. This should be fun.
All right.